Like so many women in menopause, diets just weren't working anymore. So I thought more exercise would fix this belly fat. I pushed harder, I worked out more, but I was just spinning my wheels. I was exhausted and hurting. Eventually, I changed my approach, and that's when things started to change. Today, I'm sharing what I wish I knew about working out in menopause so you don't waste years like I did. I knew I was on the right track on a family trip to Puerto Rico. We were about to go on a hike in the rainforest, and one of my daughters leaned in and asked me, "How hard is this going to be?" I realized she wasn't worried about me. She knew I could handle it. And that's when it hit me. This is why we train in midlife. Not to chase skinny, but to stay strong enough for real life. So let's get into mistake number one. I used to think runners had it all figured out because I thought all of them were skinny. So I decided, even though I'd struggled with asthma my whole life and have never been a runner, that I was going to start running. And I did. I ran lots of different 5Ks and I even did 2 10Ks. I was super proud of crossing the finish line. But here's what surprised me. Running didn't mean I could eat whatever I wanted, and it did nothing to change my belly fat. And what it did give me, plantar fasciitis, random hip pain, and exhaustion. I remember sitting on the couch after one of those races and thinking, why am I so wiped out? Even after training for it, this was supposed to help. This is when the puzzle pieces started to come together. I was chasing skinny. I thought cardio was the answer, but it left me tired, inflamed, and hurting. This is the first mistake I see so many midlife women making, focusing more on cardio and forgetting about strength. Right as my hormones were in disarray, I didn't need to push harder and put more stress on my body. I needed to train smarter. If you're feeling drained like I was, a good first step is downloading my free spring habit guide where I give you 7 easy habits to start getting some of that energy back so you'll feel like working out. Now let's move into mistake number 2. Who remembers the President's Physical Fitness test that we used to have to do in PE? I know I dreaded the week that we were going to have to do that. A 12-minute run, a flexed arm hang to see how long we could hang there, and then as many sit-ups as we could do in a minute. Didn't really feel like we trained for that, so we just went hard at it, and then we were so sore. That made me think that that kind of exercise I didn't like. But then as time went on, I knew I had to work out to stay fit. So I joined Jazzercise. And at the end of class, we would use these cute little weights and do a lot of repetitions. And so I thought I was doing the right thing. But once we hit that menopause transition, we start to lose muscle. And we've got to fight harder to keep it. So we've got to move past these tiny weights and lots of repetitions and lean into strength training with heavier weights. It's when I joined some group classes that focused on strength training with an instructor to make sure I was doing it safely, and I continued to challenge myself to go up in weight. When I stayed at that same comfortable level, nothing was changing. But when I started increasing weights, that's when I started to notice a difference. And it feels so empowering when you can lift heavy stuff. I just love that. You just feel like Wonder Woman after you finish a class. You might be a little sore, but if you go at it gradually, it feels so good to start noticing your progress. So what my current workout schedule looks like. On Mondays, I do an hour-long circuit training where we do mostly strength, but some conditioning, so I do get a little cardio. Sometimes we do very little reps to see how heavy we can lift. That was a shift in mindset for me because I was a little scared of it because I kept thinking I should be doing this kind of weight, but I found out that I could lift a lot heavier than I thought. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do a 30-minute circuit workout where we have 10 stations of strength training with a little bit of cardio mixed in. We do a couple rounds of it, with each station being about 45 seconds on and then 15 seconds off. Then Wednesday mornings, I do a reformer Pilates class, and we also use a TRX system. I have noticed that it's really improved my balance and my core strength. And then Fridays, I do a functional strength training class. We work on everyday kind of movements. We lift heavy weights for a shorter amount of time. We go slow and really work on our form. And I've noticed that this class is helping me to increase my weights and really get stronger. And then of course, I love going on walks around the neighborhood. I like walking our puppy. I like getting fresh air. And then Sunday's a rest day. Now, if I ever am too sore from a workout class, I listen to my body and skip that next day to give myself more time to recover. You don't have to start here, but find ways to incorporate more movement in your day. Get stronger. I promise you it's worth it. So are you making this mistake number 2? Either not lifting weights or staying with these cute little weights. If you've been here for long, it's time to move up. Challenge yourself to get a little heavier. As I got these regular workouts in, I started to realize I was making another mistake. Yes, I was getting 30 minutes to an hour done at the gym, getting a good workout in, getting my sweat going, but then I'd come home and sit. And that 1 hour of workout didn't account for very much movement throughout the day. So I had to make sure I increase my steps and just extra movement. I make sure I get up from my desk often. I set my step goal on my Fitbit to 8,000 steps a day, and then I usually on average hit 10,000 for the week. I want to have that bare minimum on the days that it's hard to get enough steps in, but I exceeded on other days to average out to 10,000. Wherever you are, see if you can increase your steps just a little bit. A walk after meals does a fantastic job of lowering your blood sugar impact of your meal, gets you outside and moving, and it makes steps feel good. And here's the great thing. Walking gave me the energy and calm that running never did. So if you're making mistake number 3 and only counting your workouts, I want to challenge you to get in a little extra movement. Can you up your step count? Can you stretch more? And are you giving yourself enough time to recover? This is so important for hormone balance and recovery. COVID taught me mistake number 4. I am not great at working out at home. I can push myself to get out the door and walk around the neighborhood. I really enjoy that. But when it comes to doing strength training in my living room, I struggle. It's a lot of that negotiation. Have I done enough? Can I go sit on the couch? And so I'm a huge proponent of joining a gym. Now I get it can be super intimidating when you walk in and see all that equipment. You see the guys sweating and lifting the heavy weights in the back. But that's why I want you to skip over all of that and get into a group fitness class. This has been a game changer for me. All I have to do is motivate myself to get there. Then the instructor tells me what to do. She guides me so I do it safely. And then there's kind of peer pressure with the women in the room that I want to keep pushing myself to keep up. And those women become friends. I love the women I work out with each week. We look forward to catching up with each other at our exercise classes. So if you're making mistake number 4 of trying to do this all on your own, make it easier on yourself. Maybe prepare yourself and get a little strength build up, but then join a group fitness class. I promise you that's going to be a very supportive community that is going to welcome you in. Making it fun to get it done has been the key for me sticking to it. Usually these classes have fun music going on and the instructor is chatting with you, taking your mind off of what you're doing. So I highly recommend you finding a group fitness class near you. Before we get into mistake number 5, I want to share something with you. Tonight, I'm headed to a functional strength training class led by one of my daughter's best friends. I'm doing it with a couple of my daughters. And you know what? I'm not nervous. I'm confident that I'll be able to keep up. This is what strength training looks like in midlife. I'm setting a great example for my daughters of what's to come, and I'm physically able to do whatever I want. And that feels good. You know what mistake took me the longest to let go of? The idea that I had to earn my food. Back in those Weight Watcher days, you could eat more if you had activity points. So I was constantly looking at how many calories I burned so if I could eat a little bit more. But here's the truth. That mindset kept me stuck. Exercise wasn't joyful, it was punishment. And honestly, it didn't help my body composition either. You can't out-exercise a poor diet. What changed everything for me is when I flipped that belief. Now I train to earn my fun. Going on hikes with my family on vacation, being able to do this workout class with my daughters, going kayaking on the weekend with my husband, and traveling and being able to walk wherever I want, playing pickleball with my friends. Strength lets me say yes to my life, not just to burn calories. Of course, workouts are only part of the story. You can't build muscle or get more energy if you're not fueling your body right. That's why I'm sharing exactly what I eat in a week to stay strong and energized. You can watch that video right here. Just remember, it's okay to start here, but you don't want to stay here. You want to keep challenging yourself, and that's where the change happens. This is the key to living an active, fun midlife.